This is why we push just dollar cost averaging, and we hope that you're not scared of these low prices. And we know a lot of people are, and they're fearful, and they think they're never going to get their money back.
Well, I have
in
a
crypto.
question for you right now, Julian. A few months back when Bitcoin was at 60K, if I offered you one for 20K, would you be stoked?
Oh, right.
There you go.
Biggs and Bogs.
Hey guys, and welcome back to your future handle, Biggs and Bogs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
We don't have Spencer with us on sound and screens today, but we got a good one for you anyway, so stick around. We like to come at you like once a week or so and talk about some things that we believe are going to benefit your future hand. So without further ado, let's get right into it. What are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow? Julian?
Thanks, Marty. We are catching up today. We're going to look over Bitcoin and what's going on. We are dollar cost averaging, as always. We're going to get into the conversation of Bitcoin and where things could be looking the next month or so.
Crypto.
Also, we didn't come to you the last couple of weeks. I took a road trip up to the Yukon Territory. Absolutely stunning, amazing. We may slide in a few images.
with me.
Yeah. I should have came to you with updates from up there and maybe showed off some scenery or something like that. But honestly, I was just trying to take in the experience, and it was just
and last time we talked to you, we said that we were going to fill that wick in. So why don't we get into a bit of a market scope and figure out where we were?
Let's do it. All right,
Market scope.
Okay, just gonna get that ball rolling here. Okay, we're looking at the Bitcoin versus US dollar chart on the daily time frame. So here was the wick we were talking about getting our way down to, and as you can see, that happened. So the last episode was this yellow circle we drew here was the last episode still on the chart there, and obviously we've come to a low of 17.5 or whatever it was there last week, and we've since bounced. So the one thing I wanted to show, which I don't always show, is my RSI indicator that I have here, and we're going to try to get rid of the brush, obviously. And what we can see is that we did make our trip into the oversold territory, and things have kind of been on this bearish move since and working their way down into the oversold territory. So we've hit it twice now, and it looks like we are trying to get above this kind of, Bollinger Band. I guess it would be above the 50% in the strength index here, and moving to the upside. So the question is, are we going to get a little relief rally, I guess they would call it, this week, or are we going to see some more lower price action? And, I do believe another low could come in because obviously people aren't too excited right now. People are really fearful. Every other market except for oil and natural gas and commodities and things like that is really bearish. So, it could drag out longer, but...
Well, most likely, in my opinion, it's going to be a long, slow drag out for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of other things going on in the world. And we know there's a lot of traders out there, and that's really what pushes the market around, are probably going to put in some large long positions with these low prices because, in theory, before a bull run, they've never gone back down to the previous high of the last bull run. So this time we actually did go down. On the weekly, we've just wicked through it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much what was expected because something happens 3-4 times in a row. A lot of people expect it to happen again. A lot of people were putting a lot of money in long positions under 20K, and then it goes all the way to 17.5 or whatever to pick out those positions to liquidate those people that are using high leverage.
Yeah, so we want to talk about that too. So the market makers, in my opinion, the market makers are going to be large hedge funds and people with, big offices full of trading desks that are kind of steering the market makers, right? And they don't care what the price is, they care what they can do to it. And they have enough money to do whatever they want to the price. So they wait for retail investors or smaller traders or all these other people in crypto to put their positions in. Like Marty's saying, it gets to 20K and everybody puts their long positions in. What that does is create the pool of liquidity underneath that starting point. And then the market makers have enough of their own to sell, dump a big amount to push it to the price of that liquidity where everybody's stop losses are or liquidation prices. And they grab all that liquidity, they buy it right back up. And that's why the wicks are so sharp and we see it bounce right back up.
That's what we saw with UST. Exact same thing.
Yeah,
They
so-
they manipulate the market with
Yeah.
the money that they have.
Yeah. So they don't care what the price is. They care what they can do to it, and they wait for all of us to get our positions in before they go in and go for that liquidity. So we wanted to talk about the fact that leverage kind of does damage this market, but it's also what drives this market, right?
Yeah.
Like the greed in people will always going to drive this market. This is why we push just dollar cost averaging, and we hope that you're not scared of these low prices. And we know a lot of people are, and they're fearful, and they think they're never going to get their money back.
Well, I have
in
a question
crypto.
for you right now, Julian. A few months back when Bitcoin was at 60K, if I offered you one for 20K, would you be stoked?
Oh, right.
There you go.
And,
right?
and like even honestly, when I started investing, Bitcoin hit 29K. You know what I mean? And I was like, I waited. I was really patient and trusted in the information that I had taken in that it was going to hit that point, and I waited, and it was good. And we wrote it out, and I traded with leverage. You know what I mean? And I had some wins that
Ultimately, it boils down to time in the market, which is funny because even at these prices, I'm still up on some of the Bitcoin that I've purchased purchased back in 2017,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's like I know I have purchased. Or I have positions of like 10,000 or whatever it is, whatever it was back then.
And so,
right?
but if you like at 60K, I was wishing and hoping it would go to 100, but now I'm excited that it's come to 20K, and I honestly hope that it does drag out a little longer before the next bull run, so I can have as much as possible. You know what I mean? Maybe I've got one whole Bitcoin before the next bull run starts.
That'd be epic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
20K, if it stays at 20K, like think about that. Like how long does it take? If people want to save for a trip, they save $5,000 in 3 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How did you do that? You wanted to go on a trip. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I want to own one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right?
Or more.
Or more. I want to own as much as possible before that run up happens because we know it happens. Right?
And again, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
So that's the other thing too.
There's Bitcoin and crypto.
Big lessons for me. I didn't take any losses. You know what I mean? I'm still holding some coins that are worth nothing. But
Yes, it's not a realized loss.
it's not a realized loss. So maybe they come back, maybe they don't, maybe I take a loss. But in my opinion, it's just lessons. And the biggest lesson that I learned is that chasing everything else was really greed fed for me. And Bitcoin, it really is different than crypto. And I see that now. There's Bitcoin and then there's crypto. And Bitcoin is the long-term plan. And I probably won't touch anything else other than Bitcoin for
well, there's no need
maybe,
to until
maybe ADA actually.
Well, yeah.
But,
I mean, I personally just grab some more ADA, but
yeah.
if you just watch Bitcoin and pay attention to Bitcoin, it drives the rest of the market anyways. So you DCA your Bitcoin for a while, and then when Bitcoin starts going up and you start to make profits on these investments, that's when you can start just putting those gains into other coins, because that's what the big guys are doing. They get a bit of gains on Bitcoin, then they put it into these small altcoins, and it drives the price of those up. So that's how it works. So you don't like.
And this is how we accumulate wealth. We don't accumulate wealth by thinking that, in the next 5 years, this is going to, be all my spending money, or I'm going to get rich in a few months and I'm going to have to, sell it whenever I get profit. You should be having that investment strategy in mind and how to accumulate and stack more sats and profit onto this portfolio.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be money that you need to spend.
No, exactly.
You know what I
It should
mean?
always be, you always invest what you can afford to lose. You have your budget, your weekly budget, groceries, everything else that you need. It's that little bit extra money on top that you can afford to not worry about. It doesn't make a difference to your bills. And what is it like? What do you lose in a couple cases of beer a month or something like that? Like, who cares, right? So you take that and you buy assets of any kind, because we know that the dollar is going to zero. So you need to make sure that you have something else that you're putting the money towards, whether it's real estate, obviously number one, but obviously out of reach for a lot of people. So whatever else that you can do, basically.
Real estate's number one for now.
You've seen. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's. We'll see. Who knows? I mean, it's a completely made up market, just as much as Bitcoin, or people argue Bitcoin is. It's like, you don't own that land. You said you did. You bought a piece of paper that says you did, but like, really? Like, but actually, there's people that have been here 300 years before you. They actually own that land.
Yeah.
But it's like, do they even own that land? Like, it's dumb, right?
We wrangled them into the corner.
Exactly. So it's all just.
And that's how some of the, what I mean, the eye-opening, some of the things in people that I talked to and experiences that I had in that trip to the Yukon too. It's like you see a lot of things that you're displeased about to be, what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's enough. I don't even need to fucking touch
Yeah,
on it.
but anyways, the thing is that you need to be putting your money into any sort of asset. Like we live in a inflationary economy where we have to move forward. There has to be positive growth economically, or stocks start to fall, and people get upset and scared and blah blah blah.
Well,
But it's
that's
ridiculous.
That's what we call progress. Son.
Yeah, which is dumb because we have so much technology nowadays. We can just chill. Like we have a lot.
Yeah, but
we could be,
but
just
we
fine.
can't. We can't.
But the way our system is set
we
up,
can't
it doesn't
plateau.
work.
We don't plateau. We can't
You
plateau.
can't plateau in
No.
the way that our system is set
It
up.
has to keep moving.
Exactly, and that's why they continue to print money
Right.
and continue to kick this can. Or
It's
however
the
you want to say
only.
it, as
It's
long
the
as possible.
only way to keep it moving is to inflate it.
Exactly,
Right?
and then everything just gets
it's
more expensive.
It's
and
by
the money loses.
design. So
Exactly. So, but as long as we play that design, as long as we're aware of that design, then that's that's how the rich stay rich, because they were educated on how the system works.
Yeah.
In school, you're not going to get taught how the system works.
They-
You're going to get taught to get a job and pay taxes.
yeah, they print money. You can take it
Yeah.
for almost next to nothing, but you have to put it into money generating assets.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Right.
So you
and
have
then you
wealth.
can literally
long-term wealth.
and like you can even do like you can even do that with real estate. You know what I mean? You can go to a private broker
Mm-hmm.
and grab $500,000 for and buy a lot and have a contract with your contractor to build that house. You get that house to lock and key. You know what I mean? And then you sell that house, pay back your loan, and
Exactly.
do it all over again.
And take and scalp off the top whatever you made, right?
You know
That's
what
a
I
lot
mean?
of that's a lot of
100
people's
grand,
business,
100
right?
grand a house, 200 grand a
Exactly.
house.
And if you can do that once a year, once every year and a half, like,
Right.
it doesn't take that long
So
to
it's
build
like,
a house these days.
and that's what the people need to realize that everyone's like, oh, it's out of reach for me. I can't afford it. I can't do this. I can't do that. But
it's
it's
out of
like
reach for everybody. They borrow money.
it is. They borrow money, but people don't understand where to get it. So if we can figure out the loopholes where these, you know what I mean, how to educate ourselves enough
Well,
to
yeah, you need assets to be able to borrow, right? You need to have collateral. So like the more collateral you own,
but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you have an end goal in place with property purchased and a contract and a
course.
contractor
Yeah.
to build your house,
Yeah.
you can literally do it with almost next to nothing.
Yeah.
Aside from your credit, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to walk in 18 years old, like you
No.
know what I mean, fresh off, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
fresh out of college, a couple years or whatever.
well,
and
unless
just-
he's been on the computer since he was 12 years old,
And he's-
generating assets. Or, you know,
Wow. Yeah,
like
there's a lot of that
there's
too now.
There's kids out there that are
There- yeah,
17, 18 that are richer than I'll ever be.
That's
right?
true.
So
That's
it's
true.
like
Yeah.
it's not out of reach for
Well,
anybody.
look at Carl, dude.
It's not out of reach for anybody, and in this day and age, and especially
Yeah.
the reason why is because they're printing so much money.
Yeah.
so much money.
Yeah.
so much money. It's unbelievable. So, and this is what happens when you have an economy that gets so much money pumped in it. You have things like NFTs. You have things like crypto. You have things that money needs to go somewhere. It's literally oozing out of the mold. It needs to go to these ridiculous things. So, it was real estate. Real estate literally blew the top off. Now we have nowhere. There's not enough. There's nowhere to put the money, even though there's a lot of real estate out there. There's a lot of places people don't want to live. So
There's a lot of empty places because people
Yeah.
just want to own them.
well, they also want to just force people into cities. They make the cities more expensive, so people are actually inclined to buy them, so that it's a better investment for them, right?
Yes.
They'll live in the city. They'll buy the condo because it was a better
or
investment.
they bought the condo because it was a good investment and it just sits there empty.
Yeah.
for
well, yeah,
years
a
and
lot of
years
people
and
do that
years
too,
and
and they
years,
buy
right?
multiple. Yeah. So it's because it's an investment, but
Yeah.
it's all crazy. But yeah, anyways, dollar cost average into your Bitcoin, folks out there. This is the time. This is the time we've been waiting for. 20K Bitcoin is here. We're buying once a week or whatever you can afford, right? It doesn't really matter how much you can. I'm going to be starting to turn my DCAing up just a little bit, actually. Got a couple more jobs just so I can have a little bit extra money.
Yeah. And you said you said you were staking on Binance too, right?
Yeah.
So now Binance has these features. So if you're staking on Binance, you get whatever the APY is for your coin that's in there,
Right.
paid to your spot wallet daily in that type of coin,
Yeah.
and then it also has an auto reinvest feature that it can just go right back
Yeah.
into your
So
staking.
I'm adding to these pools of liquidity that
Yeah.
that I'm making or whatever, and they're also adding to them because I'm staking.
Mm-hmm.
It's locked in. I'm locking these coins on to secure the network to help everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
When we all work together, everybody succeeds.
So-
when you panic sell, you run, and everybody runs for the one exit door all at the same time, people die.
Yeah.
Literally. We've
Yeah.
seen it happen plenty of
Yeah.
times. You need to stick together, not lose your head, not freak out, not get manipulated by somebody else that's trying to screw it up and stick a stick in your spokes. All right?
Yeah. So
Stick together. Buy Bitcoin.
yeah, fight the fight. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Fight the fight. Buy Bitcoin.
All right, folks. Have a good day out there. Stay cool. Bigs and Bogs out.
It's hot. Yeah. Do the things.